Jen.
And we're live. I think we're live. Yes, David.
Sorry,
mate. New platform, new evening because we're doing it on a Friday. Yeah, obviously we're doing it on a Friday because I was at the Leicester Napoli game last night. Hence the very badly hung up scarf above me.
That come with him trying to put that up.
Oh mate, that was all sorts of panic in the green room trying to sort that out. But yeah, obviously, we're doing it on a Friday today. The game week's about to start. It's closed. It's about to start in 25 minutes. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about this upcoming weekend?
I'm excited, man. I've done the wild card, so
big
exciting times,
mate. That's big.
And this week, I feel like it's the first week where I've proper got in, deep dived into because this is it for me now. This is my team set for quite a few weeks, and it's the sort of how many premiums and the sort of strategy is set now. It's just a case of replacing as and when the fixtures dictate, really.
The big question: have you got 3 or 2 premiums?
I've got 2.
I thought you were going to say 3 for a second.
Yeah, I've toyed with it all week, but yeah. I mean, yeah, it is hard. I did try, but it does really deplete your squad.
The rest of the squad. Yeah, I've seen some weak benches about, although the starting lineup can still be pretty strong, but in terms of the squad,
I mean, I had 11 points on my bench last week, so I need to keep it at that sort of strength.
They both came on as well, didn't they? Yeah, lucky boy. Although it wasn't enough. And that hence the name of today's video is Big 3 Points, because it was my first win of the season in our head-to-head league and a much needed win as well. So even though neither of us really did, I mean, you did pretty awful, let's be fair.
I think I was one of the worst in the league, although once my bench players came on, I went up a little bit. But
actually, true, because we're -4. I only beat you by 3 points or something in the end.
Yeah, so I looked like a lot less because obviously the Monday night game meant that my players didn't come on until right at the end of the game week. So
true. I was I was worried for a second. If you had actually come back and beaten me with the first time, I would oh my god, I would have struggled.
Yeah.
Just a quick one. Anyone who's watching, obviously leave leave your comments in it. Do you know what I mean? Get some discussion going. Let's hear about your plans for this weekend. We'll have a look at our fantasy pod league table as well.
Do you want to get into that?
Yeah, let's have a little look at our teams then. We won't spend too long on last week's results, considering it's Friday. We'll have a quick look at how we got on, and have a look at actually, should we start with the pod league? Let's have a gander.
Yeah. Am I sharing?
You are now. Yeah, you are now.
Right.
Maybe zoom in a tad as well for those squinting on mobs.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah. So you're still looking pretty strong, even though you've had a bad week. So the Foxes and Fantasy Pod League. So I think we've got
me and Dom still battling out. Fucking hell, Adam Franco. He must have had a huge week, didn't he? Because wasn't he down there?
Yeah. What does it say? Can you?
All right, I go back
to the new week started.
Yeah.
If you look at September, though, we've only had one game week, haven't we, in September? Yeah, there you go. So 66 he got. Along with Neil, big up Neil at Beyond the 90. Big week for him because he was struggling a little bit. Obviously, a bit of a mixed bag, but pretty close. All in all, there's only 16 points separating top to last. And then who's that we got coming in? Scroll down.
Sorry, yeah.
Is it Pernell? Yeah, Horses Men. Yeah, so Pernell, he's doing better than me, so he's going to come in quite high. But yeah, just look overall again. Savagan overall again at the league. So you're still holding out top. Yeah, Dom's just behind you, and Frankham now.
Well, that 300 done there just looks. It's just that little bit of extra class,
It is true that when you're in I was obviously last season I was doing particularly well, but I did view that as being in a different digit to everyone else was always satisfying. I have to say. All right then, cool. So yeah, pretty close between you and Dom. Let's have a gander then at our teams. So yeah, the head-to-head, obviously. So yeah, as I said, I took it by 3 points. That makes it 9 points overall, and 3 points to me in it. So 3 wins to 1 for you. I really did need this. I needed it bad, and I'm very lucky that you had a bad week. Basically, the story of my week is obviously I had the -4 as well, but after Saturday, I was sitting pretty. I was looking good. And then Sunday and Monday, obviously, they didn't have the right. There was a lot of catching up. Salah scoring. Gray, Damari Gray on Monday night was really that killed me. That actually, and obviously Calvert-Lewin not starting for both of us.
We both had
wasn't in the squad. So yeah, that screws. Obviously, I had. So then Calvert-Lewin came off, and who was it? Smith Rowe came in, mate. I'm sorry, but that obviously I had Livramento over 6, so I really could have done with those extra 5 points on the bench. And the reason why I'm annoyed because the reason why I left Smith Rowe out was because I thought he might be on the bench. So in theory, if I had used that, if I had applied that logic, I should have put Livramento ahead of him. Really
true. But when he was lively and he should have scored really, and probably he could have actually bagged quite a few points because we were all over him second half. But never mind.
He had a good chance. He had a good chance. I am starting him this week, so I bloody hope he's going to be back in the team.
He will be,
man. Yeah. That's good to know. Obviously, Traore, the gamble didn't pay off this week, but I've still got faith in the guy. He'll come good.
We were at Max watching it, watching the United game, and then he got a thing through from Flash Scores. He was like, Traore scored. I was like, nah. And he's like checking it, and he's like, oh no, he's just come off.
Fuck's sake. Okay. Well, not ideal. I mean, he got the point.
Brentford this week, then, isn't it? So
Brentford this week, exactly. It was based on their fixtures. So Brentford this week. Hopefully, I saw a stat today. He's completed. It was the most completed dribbles in the Prem. I know that doesn't really necessarily equate to fantasy points, but he had. I think he's 18 above Saint Maximin, who's in second. He's
giving the ball a lot. He's getting on the ball a lot, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's it's just his finishing that's lacking, or his or the final.
He gets one, and then he might get a few, but we'll see. This is the week. If he doesn't score this week, then it's like, well, Brentford are no mugs, but come on, he's got to score against these sorts of things.
By law of averages, even though he's a shit finisher, by law of averages, the amount of chances he's having, the amount of influence he's having on games, when on fantasy, you click on him. When you to be honest, I've never fully understood the stats that they give.
Oh right, what down over there?
No, the top one. So look at that. So 5 out of 246 midfielders for creativity, 5th, 4th out of 246 for threat, and 5th overall in the index.
Yeah, 5th. That's good going, isn't it? Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? But yet he scored no points. It's unbelievable.
Well, that proves that this whole index thing is a load of bollocks, really, isn't it? But
well, partly, but then it also partly just shows that realistically he's just been missing sitters, and it's just not been happening for him in front of goal. But everything else is there, so that's why I just feel like sooner or later something's got to give. Surely
it's true. It's this ICT index, I just slated it there, but no, it is actually a good guide. Sometimes you can see a player might have been transferred out a lot, but then their underlying stats are actually pretty good. So that's a good time to maybe get onto them. This thing is quite a good summary rather than having to go and do your own research somewhere else. You can just pick someone out of the top 10.
Yeah,
they've done the work for you.
Paj has joined us. Yes, Paj. In the comments, we've changed platform, like I said at the start. So we got the comments working. That's all good.
You need to join the league, Paj.
Yeah, Paj. Yeah, in the description you can join the Fantasy Pod League. Get yourself in there. You're actually, he's extended his lead on you, hasn't he? And he's doing well.
Yeah, very slightly, I think.
Very slightly in the end. Obviously, I haven't looked at it since the game week closed, so I'm a bit skewed as to how you actually perform, because obviously, like you said, you had players come in. All right, we won't stick to this too much. Benrahma has gone because bad transfer on my part. I think that's one of them where you jump in on someone early on in the season, doesn't work out. Lukaku worked out nicely for me. Should have captained him, really. I missed out on a few points there. Realistically, it would have been a good captain shout. And then obviously Mikel Antonio, it doesn't really affect much because everyone's had him at this point. But again, a bit annoying because I jumped on him late and actually, he got a -1. So, it's just the way these things work out. But my defense sorted me out basically this week.
Yeah, me.
Sanchez, Walker, Cresswell, Shaw. Ideal in the end, really.
Yeah.
And Bruno worked out as an okay captain choice. But yeah, that's me. Rather than bringing up my screen, I'll just tell you the transfers I made. I brought in Torres.
I can see your team now, can't I? Because the game week started.
Of course. Yeah. Have a look.
Which usually we can't do, so let's have
true,
a look.
Very true.
Sorry, 2 seconds.
This is why we should really do one early on in the week and then one when
yeah, true.
But yeah, it's whether or not we can keep up that level of work rate.
So what have you done then? Talk us through it.
Cool. So obviously Calvert-Lewin was injured, and actually, do you know what I thought about Bamford? Right, he's got good fixtures. I'm not too keen on Jimenez because I just don't see it at the moment from him. But I thought about Bamford because of the fixtures. But Bamford's one of them who I've never been fully convinced by. So I went for Richarlison, which
I think I've seen. I think I've seen Bamford is actually out. Is he out tonight or Rafinha? One of those two, I'm sure, had a last-minute injury. But yeah, carry on. I'll have a look.
Paj says he's getting in the league for next week and I'll try not to take your top spot. But I think you probably will come in top. Ben's top at the moment, so you probably will. But
no, I'm chatting shit about Bamford and Rafinha. They're both playing.
Obviously, Rafinha is another one that I've considered. But yeah, so in the end, I went for Richarlison, which it's their next fixture. They've got Norwich at home, I think.
That's right. Yeah, they've still got good fixtures.
And obviously, with Calvert-Lewin's probably going to be out until after the international break. So I thought, why not? And I saved some money on him as well. So then Torres has come in for Benrahma. Big decision to go for Torres. I was weighing up, but originally I had Bruno, right? I had Bruno as a safe option, but then I thought West Ham away, try something different. So I was weighing up between Jota and Torres, and it's risk and reward, I'd say. So Jota, I'd say Torres has the higher chance of reward, but also the higher risk because of the whole Pep roulette. Is he actually, it would be typical that this is the game that he's on the bench.
Did he play midweek?
I think he did.
I think he might have got. I think he started and he came off. That's not too bad.
It's a risk. I'm not going to lie. It's a risk. Jota would have been the safer option, but I just feel like Man City are probably going to smash Southampton at home.
I think the same. It's usually this point of the season. Like sometimes they start. Like when I say start, I mean like the first couple of games they win, but it's like nothing special. Then as soon as they get their first game where they score loads, like they scored 6 against Leipzig, they tend to go on a run where they just score like 5 at home, like every game. So it is risky, but it could be like hat trick potential if he starts. Yeah, could be.
Exactly. Even if he gets a brace or. If he has a big game, which is if he starts, it's very possible. Then I could be onto something there. But if he's benched, I'm in trouble. I am in trouble. It's a big like Jota would have been the safer option because of Firmino being out and the fact that he's definitely going to start.
Yeah.
But I just
if Torres doesn't start, he's likely to come on.
He's going to come on.
You won't get Cresswell coming on in place of him, no.
No, he's going to come on. So the vice captain isn't really going to come into play. Obviously, and then I feel like that midfield could. I'm quite happy with that team. Richarlison, hopefully he can bag a goal against Villa. But overall, I'm pretty happy.
James ready, or have you brought him in?
No, I had him already, but obviously he was suspended, wasn't he?
So how many transfers have you done?
2. Torres and Richarlison, so a -4 again.
Yeah.
I actually was only going to do 1, but then obviously Calvert-Lewin got injured, so that sort of scuppered my plan.
Who did Torres come in for?
Benrahma, and obviously they're playing United, so and he's blanked the 2 weeks I've had him. So
on paper that's 2 transfers well used, I think.
I think so. And Richarlison I think this is the first time I've ever had him, in fantasy, but. It's only because of the Calvert-Lewin injury and the fact they got Norwich at home. So yeah. All right, that's enough. So no players tonight either. Nothing tonight. Let's have a gander at yours.
Right, there it is, the big wild card. Oosh,
massive, and he's got Ronaldo. He's gone for Ronaldo.
It didn't take long.
Did that hurt? Do you feel dirty?
I feel disgustingly dirty. So basically my long-term plan is for that to be Lukaku, But I just think the next 2 weeks, Ronaldo's got West Ham and Villa. Sorry, not West Ham. West Ham and Villa.
Tough fixtures. Tough fixtures
Yeah.
after, like in the
After that,
midterm.
yeah. So that's what I mean. So my plan is after these 2 games is to take Ronaldo out and put Lukaku in because that's when Chelsea's good run starts.
I see.
So obviously he's less than Ronaldo, so I'll save like £1 million. So that's an easy enough swap, and I'll probably swap between those two for the rest of the season and Kane if he hits some form. So that's my thinking there.
Yeah.
And then other players I've brought in. So yeah, Foden, like he was like one of the first players. Like,
go to your go to your point so that it's got the right fixtures for this week. Just because it's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. So Foden. I wanted him from the start, but obviously I knew that with the being part of the England setup, and I think he had a slight injury the last few weeks. He hasn't had a chance yet. He's gone down to 7.9. He came off the bench against Leipzig. I can't say that I watched any of the game, but I'm hoping that he's going to start because I think he needs the minutes with the big games they got coming up against Chelsea and Liverpool. So I think it'd be good for him to get some.
That was my one concern with getting Torres in is those 2 fixtures. But then Southampton at home, I just felt like I needed to get involved. So
and with it, I thought the same with the fixtures, but I think with City, that they're the one team that are pretty fixture proof. Like Foden is usually, from what I can remember last season, he tends to score or play well in big games. So yeah, I'm quite happy that I managed to get a City like attacking asset in there because I'm pretty sure that he'll play. I know with the Pep roulette, it's always dodgy, like we say, but I think he's the best apart from De Bruyne. You know, he's up there, isn't he? So I've gone for him. Like I said, Salah I've brought in. I traditionally stay away from him. I don't really know why. I just end up with other players like Bruno or Son. But yeah, basically.
I think this just shows though that how interesting fantasy is going to be this year because I've at the moment anyway I've got the Bruno Lukaku combo.
Yeah.
And you've got the Salah Ronaldo combo. So they're just having those 4 premium players to pick from, and that's not even bringing into Kevin De Bruyne, who obviously could be an asset in we're joined by Peter Horse. So Pernell's joining our lead this week. Shaw's transfer as opposed to Patson. Come on, mate. Come on. I admit that the Torres captain is dodgy, but I've already admitted that. So come on, mate. All right. So yeah, I think that's why it makes it so interesting. Obviously, you said you're going to get Lukaku in soon. I'm probably actually. I will definitely consider Bruno for Salah at some point, especially with those United fixtures. What are Liverpool's fixtures like coming up?
So this week and next week is like pretty much two of the best you can get. Home to Palace, away to Brentford. Then they got the City game. They got a couple of difficult games. Well, City United.
But still,
in between, you got Watford, Brighton, and then I think it gets pretty decent down here as well. So yeah, again, Liverpool pretty fixture proof. They seem to be, they're hitting some form now. I think.
Do you know what? I think actually one thing that dawned on me watching the Champions League with that Trent goal, well, it already dawned on me anyway, but that Trent goal in the Champions League was pretty. It's like, wow, he is such an asset at 7.5. I know it's expensive for a defender. When you look at his overall contribution and the fact that he can get clean sheets on top of that, it's actually this is what I mean. It dawned on me as a bit of a no-brainer, and actually I'm in a bit of trouble because I'd have to find some money from somewhere to invest that in the defense.
Yeah.
And like you say, with those next 2 fixtures, Palace and Brentford, that's huge. Like
that's why I brought him in now, because he's also gone up to 7.6, I think, or he's on his way up. Okay, he's not gone up yet, but he's on the verge of going up 7.6. I thought it's now or never for Trent.
I think he's a huge asset, and one that I'm a bit worried about not having. I'm not going to lie. And obviously, you've also got the Diaz over Walker, which is a better option than me. It's a strong team. What's your bench saying?
So this is where I've skimped out a bit. So
Ramsdale, you're risking the rotation with Leno.
Yeah, so which is why what I wanted to do was have Ramsdale and a 4 mil goalie, because Raya's fixtures are terrible. But
Right, yeah.
I'm pretty convinced that Ramsdale's going to play, but I just couldn't risk not having a goalie that wasn't going to, having no points from a goalie. So I had to get another 4.5 in there. So I've kept Raya in there. But if Ramsdale proves that he's going to be number one and he's in the team, then
It looks like he probably is going to be, doesn't it?
I think so. But for now, I couldn't risk it. I mean, what I wanted to do was
doubling. Sorry to keep on in, but doubling up on the Arsenal defense. I mean, I know your fixtures are pretty decent, but doubling up on the Arsenal defense. Yeah, but mate, you can't even keep a clean sheet against fucking Brentford, right?
And Burnley this week. Come on.
Okay, I mean, Burnley. That's a Burnley away, mate. That's a.
Yeah.
Spurs at home. I don't know. It's a big shout. It's a big shout.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I had to put some cheap options in somewhere, and considering like two things basically. One, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I want to put some in there because I want to, and two because I think that they are potentially undervalued and not many people put them in because of how bad we've been.
Yeah,
but I'm still confident that we can turn things around. But yeah, like I said, if I didn't have White in there, 4.4, I don't know who else. That I'll be looking at, like a mid-table defender. He's going to play 90 every week, so I'm keeping him in. But having 3 Arsenal is risky, but they are all cheap. And if there's ever fixtures that it does go a bit sour and I don't want to transfer people out, I've got my bench is still okay. I've put Pookie in there. Their fixtures are pretty decent. And he's gone down to 5.9. What do you reckon about it?
No, the fixture. I personally don't rate him as a Premier League player. Like, clearly he's very good at Championship level, but it's like his it's the fact that he's kind of small. He's not really that quick. I know he's a very good finisher and his movement's great and everything, but in the Premier League, I just don't think that's enough. But those fixtures are really good, and at 5.9, I mean, you haven't got so it's basically him or Dennis, isn't it? So
it was him or Dennis. I mean, what I wanted to do.
Did you consider Edwards?
I did consider him, but I just want to see. I know if you've come off the bench and scored 2 with 2 touches, I mean, you should be starting the next game. But I'm still.
He's a pile of shit as well. Let's be fair.
Yeah. I want to see a bit more of him first. I think obviously if he bags against Liverpool and he's looking on it, then he's going to shoot up in price. So I might have to get him in. Then. What I wanted to do was change Raya to a 4 mil option. So I had 0.5. I would have 0.5 more. And boosted. I've got 0.2 in the bank because I've basically had to put this Greenwood guy in as like bench fodder.
What is he, 4 mil?
He's 4.5 because that's the cheapest for a striker. But if I save 0.5 here, I could upgrade him to Dennis. But I don't need Dennis because I've got these 2 to come on anyway. But eventually, that's what I want to do is get Dennis for him, and then Raya drop down to a 4.
I suppose as long as you've got the guarantee that Ramsdale is going to be the number 1. But then, even so, though, even if he is, I mean, that's still there'll be the odd time where Arteta just throws Leno in like a fucking and like an absolute tit. So that's the thing. Like, so it would be a bit dodgy having a benched keeper who's a reserve keeper who's not going to play. But nah. It's a strong team. It's a very strong team.
The only thing I would say is I've picked, like a couple of weeks ago, I was saying it's good. It's good. I've sort of flip-flopped a bit. I said it was good to have like a varied team with players from different teams. I've got 3 United, 3 Arsenal, 2 City, and 3 Liverpool.
The thing is with United, like, as well as their kind of plethora of attacking options, like, they haven't actually been playing that convincingly, have they? Really? I mean, that the Newcastle game. Okay, it's Newcastle at home.
They got fucked by young boys.
They got fucked by exactly. They got touched by the Jackson 5. So, like, exactly. But yeah. I don't know. I think Greenwood's been ever reliable. Sure, everyone has him. I've got him, and then Ronaldo. So you can't really argue with the individual picks. It's just, I suppose you're putting all your eggs in the top 4 bracket plus Arsenal, which I don't know.
I know what you're saying. Could
Like-
be looking at it through rose-tinted glasses from my point of view. I'm pretty sure if I look at every other team, no one else will have 3 Arsenal or even 2 Arsenal. But
No, their fixtures a bit their fixtures are good, and it's a chance to catch, get some points up on people. It's more the fact that I don't know. It's like, like Zaha last week, for example. I wouldn't recommend. Not that I'm recommending getting Zaha in your team, but like where a mid-table team player carries that team or has an exceptional performance.
Talisman, yeah.
Exactly. Kind of like Antonio sort of has been for West Ham, but there's a few, and like I feel it's a tough one, but I feel like those are the players that when you get them right, are gonna the top.
I mean, with I feel like I had a few of those with Calvert-Lewin and Antonio, but obviously. Suspended. I did toy with keeping Antonio in and just benching him this week because they've got Leeds next week. But I forgot that West Ham were in Europa League. I don't know how much that's going to take out of them. They've got quite a big squad, to be fair.
They've got have they a big squad? West Ham.
I think so. Yeah.
Sorry, their first game of the season because Leicester were playing them second game. I looked to their bench, right?
Yeah.
And like Antonio's out this week. They don't have any other striker.
No, but that was before the window shut. They wasn't it? Because they brought in Zuma, Vlasic, and other matey since then.
Okay, yeah. So they spanned their squad a bit. But Vlasic still isn't a centre forward, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I think he's like a winger or a.
Oh, is he?
Yarmolenko can kind of play. It's Vlasic a striker. I really don't know.
I don't know anything about him. I know that he plays up there, but I don't.
They don't have as good a squad as Leicester's. I'll tell you that much. They've got a very good first 11, and that's a very good point. They did sign some good players towards the end of the window, but squad like Leicester last season weren't in a position to fight on all fronts, right? And in the Europa League, when we rotated, obviously we lost to Slavia Prague, but that was because our squad wasn't built for full rotation, competing on every angle. And I feel like we've progressed since then with our signings in the summer and not selling any of the big names, whereas West Ham are like a year behind us.
Our squad was the same last year. Like we're in the same boat, Europa League, but like our bench was always made up of loads of youngsters like Reece Nelson and players that would never play.
Yeah,
we came eighth, so they might struggle. West Ham with the Thursday and Thursday, Sunday, it does take its toll.
Yeah, and they're a very good team. They smashed us. I'm not gonna but I think they're one of them where everyone's jumped on the Murdy. I did it with Ben Rama. Everyone's done it with Antonio for good reason. Cresswell's still a good choice, but they're going to be a top half Premier League side. They're not going to be worth much more than that. We've had a couple of comments from Spooner, so if you have the chance to start Ben White, you have to take it, to be fair.
Well, you have to read it out to me because I can't see it.
Sorry. If you have the chance to start Ben White, you have to take it, to be fair, he said. Yeah. So, he's rating that Ben White.
I thought he's rinsed first of all.
I mean, he is rinsing you, I think, but, but he also said, no love for Bowen whilst Antonio is out. Surely worth a shout.
I do like Bowen, but every time I've had him in the past, he's one of those. He's Marmite for me. He ain't done nothing. So
he is one of those that everyone's gone for Ben Rama, and actually Bowen is just as good a shout. I think. But yeah, I've never really. He's not one I've ever really seriously considered. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I want to know what other 4.5 defenders are popular because.
Well, you've obviously got. I mean, I'm looking more towards the 4. You got Livramento. I think is a good shout, man. He is a good shout.
City this week.
Well, yeah, obviously not this week, but in general. Obviously,
look at some of this dross.
Exactly. Yeah, there's not many good options.
I mean, Wolves have got good fixtures. I did consider a lot of people. I think that Marçal. I know Page has got him. A lot of people put him in last week, but
he's a fucking. Surely he's going to get a few bookings. He's an absolute meathead, that guy. From what I've seen of him, he's just a meathead, right? Yeah. He didn't got a few of them. Score. I think he might have nearly scored at the weekend, actually.
they got a few nutters in their team. That Roman Sice as well. He's a nutter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very similar. Yeah. Wolves' fixtures obviously are really good. So I've obviously got Traore, but their fixtures in general are good.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4.5 defenders there aren't many. It's true. Realistically, Ben White's probably the Ben. It's more than just the doubling up. So it's a bit like
I get it. Yeah. I did consider Sanchez because you've got Sanchez, haven't you? Goalie, Brighton goalie.
Yeah. He's been ever reliable ever since kind of last season when I brought him in.
I know he's got some quite good games coming up as well after City. So if we have a mare against Burnley and I'm forced to change my thinking, then McCarthy might be the one for me.
Did you Did you consider starting Duffy ahead of White, or just out of interest?
I think Leicester. Like, I think you're nearly there. Like when I watched a bit of the game last night, and I know you started really well and you were pressing them, and like the crowd were up for it, and that was obviously the right thing to do, like tactics wise from Rodgers. But then I did think to myself, I don't know how it felt in the stadium, but it felt like it was a really fast, like they were pressing too hard, like they were going to like blow out. Like it was after like 15 minutes. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Perez. He was blowing out of his ass, but like I can understand why, because he was running around like a madman. But
he does the really, really good defensive work. But I think in general, there was a lot of peaks and troughs to the game. Like it sort of, we did start really well. I think Greg
I quite like, although he didn't do anything like particularly special, I just got a feeling he's going to come good sooner rather than later.
Man, I think he played a big part in the first goal. We played Barnes played a 1-2 of him, but and then his finish. Do you know what? I think he's just a finisher, and like he and I think if you give him chances, he'll put them away. And like that finish was quality, and I really felt for him because he went fucking nuts for his celebration. It was right in front of us as well, and he was losing it. And to have that ruled out isn't great. But I wish it's just difficult with Leicester this season because it's obviously neither of us have any of their players. It's not been the best start. The defense is still a bit shaky. Barnes was obviously decent last night, but yeah, it's just Rodgers. I wish he played two up front, and I know that Greg would harp on about this a lot, but Maddison's not on form. When we started, like you said, we started really well last night. In about midway through the first half, he changed the formation back to a 4-2-3-1. And rather than Daka and Iheanacho being up front together, Daka went out to the right wing and Perez went into the middle to play behind Iheanacho in the Maddison role. And that's where we sort of lost our way. And even in the first kind of 15 minutes of the second half, we sort of were a bit all over the shop. And I feel like our squad is built for playing two up front, but it's until we do, it's difficult.
I mean, yes, I wasn't sure with Duffy, like, because I still think Leicester are a threat. I thought White away to Burnley, I thought was a better shout than Duffy, even though they are at home.
Probably.
We played against Norwich. It was very possession based. Like we had like all of the game. So my main thinking was that when we can see goals, we look like terrible because it's usually like on the counters. But Burnley, like they've only got one way of playing, and that's like hoofing up there. It's not really, they ain't got the pace to counter. So I think we could dominate. And if we do concede, it'll be through like something silly. But in theory, like it should be.
Yeah. All right. Let's just have a quick look at the fixtures before we go watch the Leeds games. Obviously, Newcastle Leeds is live as we speak, 0-0. Obviously, the ones to watch out for there. I think a few people have put Saint-Maximin in.
It's quite highly transferred in. I'm not on that.
I mean, Pernell, Peter Horse is having a go at me for my transfers. I think I haven't actually checked his team yet, but I think he's got Saint-Maximin in. So. How's that looking, son? How's that one looking? I shouldn't speak too soon. I should speak. Who was it last week?
Now, one goal will just pop up in the Newcastle.
I know. Who was it I did that for at the weekend? I was like, I started ripping out of him. Was it Gray? I think it was Gray, and then literally he scored like a minute later. Fuck's sake! Yeah. So I should keep my mouth shut, really. Yeah. Newcastle leads Bamford, and it's basically Bamford, Rafinha, and Saint-Maximin to look out for that. I doubt anyone has any defenders.
No.
Wolves Brentford lunchtime tomorrow. So big up Adama. That's his time to shine. Yeah, I think there's probably a few Jimenez's about as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably not too much interest. 3 o'clock. Okay, Burnley, Arsenal. We talked about. I think I don't know. That's not necessarily an easy fixture on paper.
No.
But yeah, if you do get, I mean, pray to God that Smith Rowe starts for a start. But
I'm
if
sure that he will.
yeah, and if you get a clean sheet there, then yeah, you're onto a big one.
Yeah. And then Liverpool City is, I mean, both at home against, I know Palace won nicely against Tottenham last week, but there was some sort of mitigating circumstances. I think Liverpool, I fancy 2 easy wins there, would you say?
You would think so, but then
Over City, I think.
yeah, could be another 9-0 for Southampton there, hopefully. But yeah, no, I feel like both of those games could be high scoring wins, 4-5-0 wins. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think with Vieira trying to play a more expansive brand of football at Palace, that could damage them in that game. But I feel like Man City are the more capable side of scoring, 4, 5, 6 in a game.
Yeah.
Norwich, Watford, pretty inconsequential. Obviously you've got Pukki on your bench. There's probably a few stars still knocking about. Dennis, yeah, Pukki versus Dennis, yeah. All those people who put Dennis in their team after the first week haven't really been rewarded, have they? I mean,
he still went up 0.2. They haven't done nothing. I don't understand why he hasn't.
Because he's the only option. He's the only option around that price. He's the only one who starts. So it makes sense, but he hasn't actually scored any points since game week 1. I don't think. Villa Everton's a big game. Anything.
I fancy Everton for that.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, they seem to be on a good run, whereas Villa seem to be a bit like they're not without Grealish. They've sort of been struggling a little bit, haven't they, so far? They have got the players, but I just don't think they've gelled yet.
No, I'd agree, and Everton without. Obviously, they did come back and win in good fashion, actually, but without Calvert-Lewin, they did look a little bit. Obviously, it all kind of came together for them in the second half. What are we thinking on Townsend and Gray? Obviously, Gray, a lot of people got him in last week, and that happening on Monday night just really sort of made my week from a kind of good to average to like a kind of below average.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be putting either of them in, but they're probably quite. I mean, I think Townsend's like 5.4 and Gray's 5.7, so. Yeah, cheap options that have been. I've got Smith Rowe for 5.3 and he hasn't done nothing. So, yeah, those two probably are good options.
Yeah, but Demarai Gray, fuck off! Like, where was any of this stuff at Leicester? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was so rare. And
yeah, I saw some stats.
Demarai Gray and Andros Townsend. All right, we know they've been around they're not that they're super old or anything, but they've been around for a long time. We know what they do. Like Townsend scores the odd screamer. Gray is a very dangerous player on his day, as it is very talented, but doesn't bring it very often. And like maybe if it comes together for them, they are potentially high scoring players, but at the same time, how many seasons have they had where they've not really done anything? Like
exactly, yeah. Unless Gray scores even if he scores 2 this week, I still won't put him in. I don't think I have to see like another 2 weeks of him scoring or assisting to. Even if it means I miss out 0.5 on like I missed the boat like type thing.
Did you see Townsend's quote? After he said that his mum before the game or on that day, his mum had sent him a video of his like best goals on YouTube, whatever, and she said like, I can't remember, like you need to start doing this again, or like look at. And then he literally went and it's funny how things like that actually do work out. But
was you going to ground him or something if he didn't score a screen?
He was a little pep talk, like remember that you're good, like you're not shit, mate. Remember,
he has scored a few over the years.
I think there was a stat. It's like over half his goals have been from outside the box. But how many times does he try and shoot on his left? It's the same for England, wasn't it? He scored a couple, but he just tries to shoot every time he gets a ball on his left, basically.
I saw a stat with Gray that he's like every game so far he's been their like furthest player forward. So like he's obviously getting up there and in the mix, and that's where he's getting his goals. So They're obviously got some sort of plan with him that's working. So probably worth putting on the watch list, but nothing more than that at this point.
It's my Leicester bias, man. I just can't do it.
Brighton are solid as well, to be fair.
Mate, Brighton, that's a tough fixture.
It's 0-0 all over it.
It will be low scoring, I'm pretty sure. They've started the season really well. Obviously, I've got Sanchez in goal. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep a clean sheet against us, to be honest. But it'll be a close game. It's a tough fixture, and in terms of play, the thing is, I don't think anyone other than Sanchez, no one's really got anyone from those two teams at the moment. I don't see any Leicester players about anywhere, which is mad when you think about it. We're like, how strong we're the fifth best team in the Premier League for the last 2 years, but because of the way we started and the kind of the uncertainty of who's going to play, and it's just
is Justin coming back anytime soon? Because he's the only one that I'm interested in.
I think he's back in light training, but it could be a long time before he's back playing again. Still, I think so. Okay. Justin's definitely probably the one to watch out for, but I mean, if we start playing two up front, and in my opinion, Iheanacho needs to start playing every game. Like he was class last night. He was class last season. And if Kelechi starts playing, then that's I don't know how much he is, 6.5.
Well, he was. I think a lot of people must have had him in at the start, because I saw the other day.
Has he dropped
7.2? So I think he's gone down more than any other.
Yeah, player. Okay, but he started at 7.5, which is okay based on last season, but based on this season, it's too much. But if he starts playing 7.1,
he's gone down 0.4.
Like, obviously, it's funny because Dak has only gone down 0.3, but he's the more likely. We need to drop Maddison and start playing Kelechi. Seriously. And if that happens, I would definitely consider getting him in my team. Like he would be a better option than Richarlison. Slightly cheaper if he's playing. So
that's the thing. Yeah, again, you got to watch out for if he's getting the minutes, and it's hard. And with Vardy not playing midweek, you got to think he's going to be starting.
So he definitely will be, but it should be Iheanacho and Vards, is what I'm saying. It should be them too, and like when they were playing together last season, Iheanacho was the one scoring all the goals. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully he'll start playing, and then I'll seriously consider him. Lookman's maybe the other one, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. West Ham United.
United broke the record, didn't they, for longest unbeaten away run?
Yeah.
The other week, so.
Yeah, so it's about time they lost one. Like, they've done it now, so.
Yeah, you could look at it that way, yeah. Let's hope not, because I got fucking 3 of the cunts.
Well, the thing is, West Ham, I mean, you can't use Europe as any sort of excuse because they both played in Europe. Man, you have the better squad.
Well, they have had 2 more days rest there, United, haven't they?
Yeah. Hang on. Peter, 1-0 Rafinha.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't. We'll see. How many has he selected?
Bamford assists.
Oh, motherfucker!
That's not a good start. There's going to be people with either or both.
Mate, what?
I remember they thrashed him last season as well, Leeds. I think it was like 6-2 or something.
This is my season, mate. So far, it's like I was really weighing up Bamford or Richarlison. I went for Richarlison when actually the logical thing. It's only an assist. It's all right, but. What's Rafinha's selected by? I think Bamford was about 16% when I looked. We'll wrap this up soon anyway.
17 for Bamford, 6 so the same basically.
Okay.
15-17%.
Not too bad. Bloody hell.
Bloody hell.
The thing is, Leeds' fixtures, it's like, again, like obviously you've gone for big team, but if you look at their fixtures are really tasty over the next few weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can have a much better run than that. So
but from what I saw of them so far, I wasn't feeding them. So if they can put
same.
Against Newcastle, I want them to score like 3 for me to consider putting one of them in.
You know how teams come up from the Championship sometimes, and I'm not Sheffield United, but they sort of catch people off guard the first season and have some really good results. But they playing quite a different style to other teams in the league, so they're harder to put it. But once teams have figured you out,
that's it.
Yeah, so I think Leeds are suffering from that a bit. All right, last but not least, Spurs Chelsea at the weekend. So Chelsea obviously coming up to that run of good fixtures, but not quite yet. I still think Lukaku could do well in that game.
Oh no, yeah, I do. I think I'm like predicting like a standard like 1 or 2-0. That's something being. I think you should be good with James as well. Clean sheet, maybe an assist, and yeah, fancy Lukaku to score, which will mean bonus points. So yeah, you'll do all right there. The only reason I didn't put Lukaku in is because they got City next, and again he could easily score against them as well. But I just would rather have Ronaldo the next 2 games and then switch. And I'll probably try and get James in as well once those fixtures start.
Yeah, I didn't even mention Harry Kane as part of the premium selection, but obviously he's another one, not one that I would recommend.
Those fans have been saying he hasn't been playing well, has he? So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I have a slightly biased opinion because I've never fully appreciated him to the same extent as everyone else. But he does, but he blows hot and cold. He always has blown hot and cold. So
Greg's favourite player, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. What was it? There was another thing I was going to say that I've forgotten now. But yeah. Anyway, we're pretty much at the end now. I pretty much let me take that off. Yeah, cool. We'll see what happens this weekend. I could really do another win. We've both got very different teams for the time being. Obviously, that might change when Chelsea's fixtures start.
Wait, what is it? What's the point situation now? 6-3 or 9-3?
9-3. 3 wins to 1. Yeah. I still think, sorry, just because we were talking about Chelsea, I still think Ziyech a strong possibility as well as someone who's dropped in price. And there could be, he could really hit form soon, I think.
I think that's why I'm not too worried about having Chelsea players this week, just because I can watch them the next 2 weeks to see who is getting the minutes. Because the ones that are playing in those games, if they play well, they'll surely be starting against the lesser team. So yeah. All eyes on Chelsea.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, exactly. As soon as those fixtures change. But all right, cool. Well, best of luck. And yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe I quite like this format of doing it when the week's open. Because then, for a start, we don't have to worry about
people
going away to each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll see. Maybe we'll start doing one.
Yeah, early in the week.
Yeah, and one later, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, good luck, mate. We'll catch up next week, and up the Foxes.
Up the Foxes, up Ben White and Ramsdale.
All right, and to the rest of you, join the league. The link is in the description. Like and subscribe, all that stuff, and catch you next time.